Hey guys, it's HelloSimmer and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a requested video and I'm going to be teaching you guys how I do my thumbnails. And in this case, I'm going to be redoing the thumbnail I used for my transgender create a sim video. So let's get started. All you guys need is Photoshop and obviously the pictures of your sim, and I'm going to be doing a tutorial very soon on how to get Photoshop for free, and it really works, and hopefully it will work for you guys too. um, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, the first thing you need is to load up your pictures. I have my screenshots here of my sim. I'm going to be choosing this one. Keep in mind also that you will have to take lots of screenshots if you want to get a really good pose, because I'm very indecisive with everything. I can't even choose what I want to eat when I go out for dinner or something, and it's just very hard. So I like to take a lot of screenshots of my sim before doing a thumbnail. Um, this one. I'm trying to remember which poses I used. Um, I think these were the three I used. So first, I always crop my pictures and crop out all that unnecessary space that I do not need. Okay, so there we go. And now I go to the magic eraser tool. And it's usually going to be in the eraser tool. So I usually just, you could right click, I think if you're on PC, but since I'm on Mac, I'm going to click once with two fingers and go to the magic eraser tool. And what this is going to do, you just click and it literally just erases everything you don't want. And as you guys see, this, oh, never mind. Okay, so you kind of have to play around a little bit, so it doesn't erase stuff you don't want. I'm going to do that for the other pictures, and make sure you erase these little spots. Oops. These little spots so it doesn't look weird when you're putting another background. Okay, so I just masked all of my photos. And now what you want to do is I'll Google anime, look, anime background scenery, and lots of beautiful pictures come out. And yeah, I usually take my backgrounds from here. I just Google this, but since I already have my background downloaded, you click new and make sure your width is on 1280 and your height is at 720 and it's in pixels. Click OK, and then you could drag your image from there. and just resize it to where you want it to be. Okay, now that we have that, we could finally pass these pictures to here. And you could also liquefy your image, but I usually don't do that. And liquefy just means to smooth out parts of the sim so it looks more realistic, but I don't really like doing that since it's just a thumbnail and you aren't really going to be looking at it from up close, so it doesn't really matter. So I then usually brighten the image, or it comes out to be easier to just do it once it's already in the picture for your background. So that's what I'm going to do. I just drag and drop the image here. And what you want to do is type in or just type Command T, and this is going to open this thing that will let you resize your image to however you want, but make sure you don't drag it that wide because then it's going to look like that. So make sure it looks realistic once you're finished. So I'm going to do that. Then on the second image, I have this one. I click again, or also you could do the middle photo larger so it looks more, I don't know, it makes it look nice too. So I'm just going to keep it like that, but it's too big for me, so I'll just do it like that. I think that's nice. And then the third photo, this one's way too big. Also, notice how this image is on top of the second or the middle photo. So what you want to do is you go over here to the bottom right and you drag it to the bottom and you bring layer 3 under layer 2. And that just makes this image on top of the rest. Also, what I like doing, I go to filter. Oh, and make sure you click on the background image because then it's gonna blur the rest of the images. You go to filter, then you click blur. I like going on Gaussian blur, if that's how you pronounce it. And I usually just play around with this until I like how it looks. I usually go for a 5.0 and I like it like that. After, I'm going to brighten up my image. I go here, click brightness and contrast. I usually go for a 20 or a 30 depending on how bright I want to do my image. And I usually go the opposite for the contrast. So if I go for 30 for brightness, I go for negative 30 for contrast. Then I like to add some saturation. I do very little of that because then it could, like, your images could look very colored and I do not like how that looks. So I think I'm going to go for a 6 or a 7 is nice. So I like that. After, I like going for vibrance, and that just makes your images look a bit nicer. I play around with this. I think I'll go for a 15, and I'll keep the saturation how it is. And then I'm going to add a white border. I've seen loads of simmers use this for their thumbnails, and it's really simple. So I go to the first image, I go to, I click with 2 fingers, and I go to blending options. I click drop shadow, and if you notice in the first image, a shadow appears, and you could play around with this as much as you'd like. I usually go for opacity to 100% and distance probably like 11 so it could really pop out. I'll stay with 15. Then I go to stroke, I add a stroke, and I add the color white. You could add many other colors, but I feel like white just looks very clean and it doesn't look too colorful. But you could do another color if you'd like. So I usually go for about a 7. I don't like it too thick, but I don't like it too thin that you can't really see it. I'll go with a 7, and I just click OK, and then I'll do that for the rest of the images. And I like to use the same settings for all my images so it doesn't look strange. Now I'm going to do that for the last one. Okay, after we do that, I'm going to add a PSD. And a PSD, I don't really, it's just like a folder people do that you could add to your edits, and it just makes them look really nice. And you could download loads of them off of Tumblr. And there's one I specifically like, that it's, I really don't know from where I got it from, but KPSD. I really like that one. If I find a link to that, I'm going to link it down below, but I really don't know where I got it from. It's really old. So like I did before with the other images, I'm going to drag this PSD onto my full image and just drop it here. And it makes my image look really, I don't know, it's just different. But I like adding brightness to this. And yeah, I mean, this is basically what I do to my images, but I like adding a bit of saturation. I just play around with this. And I sometimes, depends on my picture, I just do opacity to 50. And then to add the text, I go over here to the text tool, and I usually like using the font Bebas New. I don't know how you pronounce it, so transgender sim. Create a sim. Oh, create a sim. And you have to play around with this. So you until you like how it looks. And I don't really, sometimes I add another text box so the text is more together. I don't really know how to do it the right way, so I'm sorry for that. And usually for the color, I like adding from the background. You know, if I like a color from the background, I usually get it from there and just use that for the text. And then I think it looks really nice when you add the drop shadow to the text. So I usually do that. And there you guys have it. This is how I do my thumbnails for my YouTube videos. And if you guys have any other questions, make sure to leave me down a comment below asking me anything you want. And stay tuned for that video I told you guys about for downloading Photoshop for free. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to comment down below if you like this video and whatnot. So yeah, bye guys.